Oh boy. Here we go. Oh wait, I forgot to do one thing. Here, let me do it right now. Because otherwise that could be a headache if I don't do this. Here we go. Sorry folks, I forgot to do one quick thing here before we get started. So I'm gonna do it now. We're doing it live, right? See that? Right. Yes. What is up? All right, we're good. Sorry, I forgot to do that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the patron slash Rockfin Premium stream. This is a stream that goes out initially to everybody, goes out live publicly first, but the replay of this stream is only available on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. Those are the only places it's available. And if you're catching it live and you're thinking, I might want to become a patron, patreon.com/romplacone. For a give what you can level, you get all kinds of cool perks. You get certain shows that I do live, although those are few and far between these days. But certain live shows, you qualify for free admission depending on the show. That's a limited supply. But you get exclusive videos not available anywhere else. You get the replay of this stream and all other patron streams. You get Zoom shows just for patrons. I do Zoom shows on the regular for patrons. I was doing it every week, and then with summer, it kind of like was a little people weren't as into it because people were going out and stuff like that. But as summer is ending, I'll definitely be doing the Zoom shows more often. And also, I will make you a theme song. That's been a thing people have really been enjoying. If you are my patron or Rockfin Premium member, I will make you a theme song. And you get all that for a give what you can level. There are no tiers, TIERS, on my Patreon. Everybody gets all the same stuff. So, a couple things here that I want to mention. Oh, wait, let me make sure the Rockfin's up. Yeah, Rockfin, we're going. Let me make sure we're up here. Let's see. I think we're good. Yeah. We're good. Okay. All right. Rockfin's going. YouTube's going. We're dancing like soldiers in the battlefield. And if you have any questions, please do leave a Rockfin tip or a super chat, and I will get to all of your viewer thoughts, or at least as many as I can. Please do leave a super chat or a Rockfin premium. You get or a Rockfin tip. You get the drill. What's up, everybody? As you probably heard by now, Graham Elwood and I have canceled our October tour, which frickin' hurts a lot. It sucks so hard. Um, it really sucks. That's I mean, what else can you say? That's all I can really say. Like, this sucks so bad. This really frickin' sucks. Boy, does this suck. It really sucks. But a couple of you have asked about refunds. So I'll start with that. First of all, I have published a piece on my Substack that kind of breaks down how that's all going to be handled. First of all, the short answer is we are going to refund everybody as quickly as we possibly can. And only so much of it is in our hands because some of the shows that we're doing, the venue handled the ticketing. And some of the shows that we're doing, we handled the ticketing. And the reason it's a little bit of both is because some venues they have like agreements where they have to do the ticketing or they have like an agreement with a certain ticketing company, so we don't have the option of doing our own ticketing. Other venues, they want you to do your own ticketing, and we prefer to do it ourselves when we can. So that's the situation there. And what I did to make things easier, I will be dealing with the ticket company we use, TicketLeap. I'll be dealing with them directly to get everything canceled and refunds sent out as quickly as possible. Hopefully, within the next couple days or so, that process will begin, and everybody will be getting the refunds very, very soon. And I published a piece on Substack as far as how that breaks down. So, depending on what city you got tickets in, it might be ticketing that we did, it might not be ticketing that we did, but either way, you should be getting refunds very, very soon. And we are doing everything as quickly as we can. I can tell you guys that booking a tour is a lot of work and it sucks. It's not fun. Booking tours is the least fun part about this gig. Like, it is by far the least. It is a headache. It is annoying. It's frustrating. But actually getting to do the tour is the most fun part. There's nothing like it in the world. It is the most fun thing in the world. Um, so for 2 years in a row, I've gotten to like imagine and I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to like have a woe is me moment, but just to like explain what it feels like from a job perspective. Imagine you have this part of your job where half of it is by far the shittiest part, but then the other half of it is the best part. And for 2 years in a row, you got to do the shittiest part and didn't get to do the best part and then didn't get paid for it. That's what it's like. I think most people in that situation would quit their freaking job. But that's what it's like. That's what it's like, the situation that I'm in right now, for the past 2 years. Because in 2020, we had booked an entire tour by, like, January. Like, by January, our entire 2020 tour was booked. So by, like, April, we had canceled everything. So we went through all of the booking and then had to cancel everything. 2021, we booked our 21 tour for October in March, thinking, oh, yeah, by fall, things are going to be fine. Look at where we're at now. So for 2 years in a row, got to do the hardest part and didn't get to do the fun part. so, so yeah. And, it's one of those things. For 2 years in a row, I make about a third of my living on the road, I'd say. About a third of my income comes from the live shows. So for 2 years in a row, a third of my salary, or however you want to put it, is just not happening. So, it sucks, but there are people who have it way worse than I do. So I'm not trying to, I'm certainly not trying to play a violin here. I'm just, telling you guys we're doing our absolute best to get you refunded as quickly as we possibly can. And please, if you can, just be a little patient with us, please. And thank you in advance. And on that note too, a lot of you have been asking, how can we, what can we do? Because we know this really sucks that your tour is canceled. We know that this is not just hurting you emotionally because it sucks so bad to not be able to be out there, but it's also, hurting you economically. What can we do? Which is so freaking cool. Thank you so much. That's such an awesome sentiment. And a lot of you who are watching this later, patrons, you're already doing the best thing you could possibly do, as far as I'm concerned. The best way to support what I'm doing is to be a patron. That is the absolute 100% best way to, if you like what I do, want to see it continue, Patreon is the best way to do it. Patreon.com/RonPlacone. And again, it's a give what you can level. So even $1 a month goes a long way. If you got a couple bucks a month that you're like, hey, I'm not going to miss this couple bucks a month, I can spare this, and you want to send it my way, that's huge. I know that not all of you are in that position right now, and I totally understand that. It's no big deal. I completely understand. But sharing these videos and tweeting stuff out, that all goes a long way too. So sharing this channel, making sure you're subscribed. YouTube subscribes people, unsubscribes people all the freaking time. Making sure you're subscribed, resubscribing when you have to. On YouTube, on Rockfin. Well, Rockfin doesn't unsubscribe people, but you get it. So yeah. Those are all the best things you can do. Another good thing you can do is if you like my movie trailer and you want to see it get made, make a contribution to that GoFundMe. There's a lot of cool perks there. There's also a lot of cool perks on the Patreon. And another thing you can do, and again, this is because if you're interested, is buy some t-shirts. That last one, my wife would appreciate that last one the most. On my website, ronplacone.com, I do have a merch store. You can order t-shirts. My wife would appreciate that the most because she is really sick of seeing a bunch of t-shirts in our apartment. She's very sick of it. She's very, very tired of it. She understands. Like, it's not like she's like, you asshole. Like, she understands, like, these were supposed to be gone over the past 2 years. For 2 years, you didn't get to do that thing that you always do, where you go out on the road and you come home and all these t-shirts are gone because you sold them at shows. You didn't get to do that for 2 fucking years. She gets it, but nonetheless, she would love it if a bunch of those shirts weren't around anymore. So those are the big ways. Becoming a patron, fantastic way. Um, Contributing to the GoFundMe for the Left at Wall movie, another fantastic way. And also buying a t-shirt. And hey, all those ways, there's perks in it for you too. I'm not a charity case here, folks. There's all kinds of benefits, all kinds of perks. If you give to the GoFundMe, you get a special shout out on Get Your News On with Ron. You can get your name in the credits. You can participate in a virtual screening of the movie when it's finished with a Q&A with the cast and with Lucy. She's part of the cast. And you get a bunch of behind the scenes footage on the Patreon and Rockfin Premium. You get exclusive videos not available anywhere else. You get the replay of this stream. You get Zoom shows just for patrons. During certain shows when I'm touring, you can get free admission. There's some stipulations there. It has to be just my show. It can't be a show I'm doing with someone else. So if it's like a Jimmy show or with Graham or with anyone else, I can't offer that perk. But if it's just me, patrons can get a guest spot sometimes on the list. So all kinds of cool perks for all that stuff. And again, yeah. So cool. You guys are great. Let's see here. What else do I want to So yeah, I wanted to address that. And again, you can check it out over on Rockfin or on my Substack, which you can just get straight from my website, romplacone.com, if you don't follow me on Substack. But please sign up for my Substack. It's just romplacone.substack.com. Please sign up for it. But I just published a piece kind of describing in a little more detail how the cities break down and that we are working as quickly as we can to get the refunds out. And we appreciate your understanding and your patience, and we're getting that to you as quickly as we can. So, yeah. And thank you guys for all of your well wishes. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. You guys were so cool. And I know some of you were saying we're going to donate the ticket money and stuff like that. Don't worry about that. Just take your refund, because honestly, like, that would be more complicated than it's worth, really. So just take the refund, and if you want to use that refund and buy a t-shirt or become a patron, or I mean, whatever your ticket money was for that year, break it down monthly, become a patron, or Rockfin Premium, or put that towards the GoFundMe for my movie, or again, buy a t-shirt. Feel free to do that. That's much appreciated. Yeah, you get the idea. So, having blabbered all that, I also wanted to share this. So this is from hold on, let me pull it up here. Um this is from Jennifer, and this is very sweet. Jen, I'm not going to read this whole thing because I know you share some kind of personal stuff, not super personal stuff, but I don't know if you want me to read this whole thing. But you say, Bass blessings to sweet Lucy. May she recover fully and swiftly. My black cat Monk also sends his well wishes, as long as Lucy does not enter his territory. In all seriousness, I know what the worrying can be like. My cat Monk is 15 years old. And I won't go into details here, but you're mentioning that Monk is having some issues and needs to have some surgery. And he's going to have to go under anesthesia for it. And you're worried about how he'll do under anesthesia, even though he's healthy and hearty looking for a 15-year-old. And vet bills can be very difficult. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you're good on those vet bills. I'm very glad to hear that. And thank you very much for your well wishes to Lucy. And you also expressed that you want to send an extra donation for Lucy. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Lucy is doing a lot better. She's on her cat tree right now, and I think that we caught things pretty early, and the medicine seems to be working. but it's very difficult when your furry loved one gets older. It's very, very difficult. And you worry about, you mentioned the anesthesia thing. I mean, yeah, I Lucy is not very well behaved at the vet. So, like, she really puts up a fight. So they always talk about wanting to put her under. And I always say, like, no. I mean, I don't let them. I mean, I know for like surgeries and stuff like that, you have to. You really don't have a choice there. But when they're like, "Well, we might need to," I'm like, "No." I mean, you can give her like a sedative or something like that. Like give her like a pill that'll just make her drowsy. But yeah, at her age, I'm always like, "No, you do not." I would not put her under unless it was, absolutely necessary, like in the case of a surgery or something like that. Because at their age, there is that chance they don't wake up. I mean, and that's something that you really gotta factor in there, where it's like, I mean, there's certain things where it's like it could help them, but they might not need it, and you kinda gotta ask yourself. And by the way, this is just an entertainment only conversation. I am not giving vet advice, okay? I'm not a vet. Not a vet at all. I'm not giving anyone advice. I'm just having a conversation with a message that I was sent on Patreon. But the way I do it is, I would not let them put her under unless it was completely, completely, completely unavoidable. Um, so yeah, I feel your anxiety there, and I am rooting for Monk. And you also mentioned that he had urinary tract blocking twice, which, yeah, that could be deadly if you don't catch that right away. That's one of the scariest things that can happen to your pet. I'm glad he's on a diet. So thank you very much. And you say love and healing to Lucy, and you're offering your prayers. And thank you so much for that. Thank you so, so much for that. And you say it's all meant in love and joy, which I appreciate that very, very much. I appreciate those well wishes. I appreciate those prayers. I appreciate all that. And I appreciate the very thoughtful note that you sent me. And not just Jennifer and everyone else who did as well. There's a lot of you sent me very thoughtful messages on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and emails telling me about your pets and sending me pictures of your pets and saying that they wish Lucy well. And it meant a lot. Y'all made me cry. I said it. I tweeted it. Y'all made me cry. More than once. Not gonna lie. You guys made me cry a couple times. It made me feel so much better. And y'all, especially, I mean, some of you guys were sending me stuff while I was at the vet. And I put at the vet in quotes because due to the pandemic, you can't even physically be in the vet with your pet now. You have to just sort of wait. So I was just kind of waiting around, and I had to take Lucy to a different neighborhood. I live in San Pedro. I had to go out to Long Beach to take her to the vet because my regular vet wasn't able to see her. They were just too busy. They couldn't squeeze her in. And I didn't want to wait. I was really worried about her. She wasn't eating. I was like, I have to shop around and see if someone else can take her right away. And we got an emergency appointment at this vet in Long Beach. And I think they might be my vet now, actually. I was very happy with them. I like my other vet too. I mean, I'm happy with the vet that I have. But I don't know. And I got a little bit of a bad. I was a little off put when, because I took an appointment at my regular vet as soon as they could see her, which was like the next day. It wasn't just the next day; it was like the next day in the afternoon, which is fine. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you're just that busy. I understand. But I had to call to cancel that appointment because I was just like, look, I was able to get her seen sooner, and I just didn't want to wait. And they weren't, I don't know, they were a little, I felt like they could have been a little warmer, if that makes sense. Like I felt like, And I get it, like, they're just doing a job. I do understand that, but I feel like you want to feel like there is some compassion for your pet and for pets in general. So the fact that I called and I just said, "Hey, I'm really sorry to do this, but I'm going to need to cancel the appointment." I was able to get an emergency appointment for her elsewhere, and I didn't want to wait. I was very worried. The fact that they didn't say, "Oh, it's okay. We understand. Is she doing better?" "Oh, we hope she's well. We understand. Please let us know if we can help, going forward." You know, all they said was, "Okay, we'll cancel that appointment." And that, again, I'm not saying you gotta like fawn over me. Like I understand like you deal with sick animals all day. I understand that. And I understand you deal with very concerned pet owners all day. I understand that. But I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of, I mean, right? Am I being unreasonable? I mean, let me know. If you think that's unreasonable, let me know. If you're like, shut up, Ron, deal with it. Just shut the fuck up. Just come on. They just said, okay, you're canceling the appointment. Fine. Maybe I'm being unreasonable, but I think like a little bit of like, you know, oh, okay, we hope she's doing better. Even just like we hope she's well. Like not even asking, you know, I don't know. But it's no big deal. Um and it's the other vet was just very, very helpful. So I think they might be my vet now. We'll see. We'll take it by ear. They might be my vet now. So there's that. Let me go over to the Rockfin chat. Um, Independent News, what's up? How are you? Thank you very much for the tip. Ron gets his monthly independent left. Ron gets his monthly donor live on the air, sponsored donor live on the air. Thank you for that. And everyone check them out. IndieLeft.news, IndependentLeft.media for their link tree. Check them out. They do awesome things. They curate a list. They update it twice a day, and you can get all the streamers you know and love, and all the article writers too. And by the way, I did their theme song. I did their theme song. Indie left, news and politics and all the rest. So much to do on the YouTube. So they compose a list for you. All right. Yeah. So, and if you want your own theme song, life is too short not to have a theme song. And you can get one, patreon.com/Ron Flacone. If you got any questions, please do drop a Rockfin tip or a super chat, and I will get to as many as I can. Blah, 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 blah. But in the meantime, I got a few updates too. And by the way, for anyone just tuning in, this is the patron/Rockfin premium stream. It's where I just kind of have a casual response to the patrons and Rockfin premium members and anyone who does a Rockfin tip or a super chat question. And it's just casual and relaxed. Nothing is prepared ahead of time. It's just a fun little chat, and I enjoy it. Sometimes we ramble about cats. Sometimes we ramble about punk rock. Sometimes we ramble about canceled tours. Sometimes we ramble about whatever's on my mind, honestly. And here's something that's on my mind. So you brought this up, Alexander. You brought this up a while ago, which Alexander, I hope you're able to make this week's stream because I have not seen a challenge from you yet. Usually you drop it in the Rockfin chat, but I've not seen. Alexander always does a challenge for me where he drops a couple different bands, and I have to pick which bands I like, which band I like the best. Yeah. And I haven't seen one from him yet. But Alexander, you brought this up, Dukes of Stratosphere, and I wasn't familiar with them. I mentioned that I wasn't familiar with them. So you told me, and I took a screenshot of it to remember to check them out. You said Dukes of Stratosphere was XTC's psychedelic alter ego, and they have 2 albums. So I listened to 25 O'Clock. I finally got around to it, and I listened to 25 O'Clock, and I really enjoyed it. And I saw a little bit of stuff online, And I don't know if this is kind of a little more hearsay or if this is totally legit, but what I saw online was that this Dukes of Stratosphere band was kind of a sort of joke band that XTC did, and they did it as a joke, and they released their first album on April 1st. But it was actually really good music, and it literally sounded like if XTC did psychedelic rock. It's like XTC doing psychedelic rock. That's what Dukes of Stratosphere sounds like. So it's like the fact that it literally is XTC doing psychedelic rock. So if someone asks me, they're just like, "What is that? What do they sound like?" I'm like, "Exactly how you would imagine." Like, "Hey, this band, Dukes of Stratosphere, it's XTC doing psychedelic rock. What does that sound like?" I mean, I can't describe it any better than that. But if you listen to that, yeah, it sounds it's badass stuff. So I finally got around to listening to that. And I got to admit to you, I admire their dedication, to tell you the truth. I really admire their freaking dedication because making an album is hard work. I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I know that like making an album, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort. And the fact that they just did that, and um and it was just like a fun joke, that's freaking dedication. Like that is freaking dedication. Um, so all power to them, man. All power to XTC for doing that. And I'm glad I finally got to check it out. I'm really glad I finally got to check that out. I dig it. I dig it. Um, and yeah, for everyone just tuning in, yeah, tour is canceled. Graham Elwood and I did a long announcement about it yesterday. And we're it sucks. It really sucks. But the Delta variant is looming, and we were really holding out hope that things were going to get a little bit better in the world, but they haven't. And so we decided, being out on the road for 3 weeks, going to a bunch of different cities every night, probably just not the most advisable thing to do right now. And so we canceled our October tour. I just published a piece on Substack explaining refunds, and we're working as fast and as quickly as we can to get them out to you as soon as we possibly can. And I can tell you this too. Oh, and by the way, some of our regional things are still going to happen. Our Los Angeles show on September 15th, that is still happening. San Francisco on September 11th, still happening. Sacramento, September 12th, still happening. You can go to romplacone.com for all those tickets. So those shows are still happening. And, I might do some other kind of regional weekendy stuff in the area between now and the end of the year, too. And I'll be announcing that as soon as it is confirmed and it's a thing, you know? So, but it sucks. There were so many of you I know from online, and I was going to get to meet in person for the first time. And I was so excited about that. And that's not going to happen now. It will happen in the future. It's just not happening now. We thought it was going to happen really soon, and it's not happening really soon, but it will happen. Because I can tell you guys this, I am going to make up for lost time. Once the world is in a better place, I am going to make up for lost time. And that doesn't just mean in the United States, that means all around the freaking world. That means all around the world. That's where I'm going to go. There's a lot of places I want to perform in that I've not performed in yet. Um, and I can't wait to get there. So all I can say is I'm stoked. All I can say is I'm stoked. I know we're talking about doing I think I want to play Iceland. Do I know anybody in Iceland? Does anyone know me in Iceland? I think I want to do the Iceland Fringe Festival maybe next year. And the other thing, originally 2022, we're talking about doing more stuff in Canada. That is for sure going to happen. What we're going to do And, I don't know if I'll be doing all these dates with Graham. Some of them I might be doing just myself. Graham and I will definitely be touring some together in the future. Absolutely. But as far as, how much or where, that all depends. Some of the tours, he might be doing some of his own dates. I might be doing some of my own dates. We might be doing some dates together. Basically in 2022, we're just kind of starting all over again. But Canada is still on the short list. We're definitely going to be doing some stuff in Canada. And what we'll do, or what I think will likely happen, is that we'll reschedule a lot of shows around Canada. So, when I'm going up to Canada, try to hit New York City, make up for that New York City show. Try to hit some of the Midwest. Pittsburgh, I'll definitely be hitting you sooner than later because that's where my family's at. I'm always going back to Pittsburgh to visit my family. So Pittsburgh, we will figure out getting that show rescheduled very quickly. So the tour is canceled. Like, we're not going to reschedule this specific tour because we've had to cancel a nationwide tour 2 years in a row. And again, setting up a tour is a fuckload of work and it's very frustrating. It's not easy. It's seriously, it's the worst part about what we do. I guarantee you, any comedian or musician or well, I guess actors don't really set up shows per se. I mean, well, unless they like run a theater. But yeah, any live performer who tours will tell you booking the tour, worst fucking part. That's by far the worst part. It's terrible and it's not fun. So booking a tour and then not getting to go on a tour is the worst of the worst. It's so fucking bad because now you did all this work for nothing. You don't get to go do the shows, which is the most fun in the world. It's by far the best part about what we get to do. And, you also don't get to make any money that is part of how you make your living. So it's a lose-lose all around. It's all those hours wasted and it freaking sucks. But what can you do? It happens. We're in a pandemic. We're all going through this together. There's people who have been through way worse things than having to cancel a tour. And I try to put that in perspective. Um, there are way worse things than canceling a tour. It fucking sucks and it's a bummer, but there are so many worse things. And you know, my heart really goes out there for all the people who are suffering so much more, for all the people who are food insecure, for all the people who are housing insecure. And I encourage everybody to check out some of the mutual aid efforts that are out there. I know that I support a mutual aid effort in my neighborhood. Whenever I can, I try to buy some supplies for them. I try to just give them some money. Whatever it is I can do to try to help out. And That's important. And I know we talk about that some on this show, and there's a number of ways you can do that. I mean, it can even be as simple as just looking for Facebook groups in your neighborhood. I mean, I've done that too. Like, I've just look for Facebook groups in your neighborhood and say, "Hey, does anyone need some food right now? Does anyone need, just whatever it is?" And I know that's kind of weird with a pandemic going on. That's kind of weird, like that's a little harder because it's like, well, gee, I don't know, it's a little nerve-wracking to try to, do you wanna accept food from a stranger? Do you wanna accept, whatever else? So I get that, but there's my point is there's all kinds of ways you can, you can do that sort of thing, and there's probably organizations in your neighborhood that you might not even be aware of, but you can find pretty easily and just, see what they need, and the best thing to do is just ask them directly. There's a South Bay mutual aid effort through Street Watch LA. The person who helps run it, she's been on this show before. Danny Doe, you may remember her. She's been on the show before. I just ask her. I just ask her directly. I'm like, hey, what can I do to help? What can I do? What can I buy? What can I send? What do you guys got going on? What can I show up to? How can I help? And that's the best thing to do. And if they have a web resource, a Twitter account, a Facebook, follow it. Follow it and see what they say. And that's huge. That's absolutely freaking huge. Um, some of you guys were asking my opinion on MC5. I enjoy MC5. I like their music a lot. Um, as far as the whole who invented punk, where did it start? I don't I don't really have a hill to die on there. I really don't. I know some people do and they swear by one thing or another. I will say this: it certainly didn't start with the Sex Pistols. Like the people who say it started with the Sex Pistols just because some marketing guy coined the term. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. The Sex Pistols are the monkeys of punk rock. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like them. I mean, that's totally cool if you like the Sex Pistols. That's fine. Musically, they're not my cup of tea as much as other bands. Um, I prefer Richard Hell. I prefer the Ramones. I prefer the MC5. I prefer Death, a band called Death. I prefer the Sonics. I prefer all those bands to Sex Pistols. That's just my personal taste. Um, but and there's actually a really funny moment where Johnny Rotten and was it Joey Ramone? Or was it Johnny Ramone? Fuck. I guess it's not. I mean, if one of the no, I think it's Marky. Some of you guys are like, Rob, we don't it was one of the Ramones. We don't give a fuck. It was Marky who came later. But yeah, no. It was Marky because Marky and Johnny got into this big argument. Because Johnny Rotten is just like he is one of those guys. He will just try to piss everyone off on purpose. Like that's his thing. I mean, I think that's why he's like a big Trumper, and I think he just does it to piss people off. I don't even know if he actually likes Trump or not. I think he just wants to piss people off. But there was this forum going on. It was like this it was this panel discussion at like this conference, and Marky Ramone was there, and Johnny Rotten was there, and I think Henry Rollins was there too, and there were a couple other people who were there, and you can find this on YouTube. Just look up like Marky Ramone versus Johnny Rotten, and they get into this huge argument about, and he goes, "You're not even an original Ramone," and then Marky's like, "I was on the Richard Hell album, Blank Generation. If we didn't make that album, you'd be serving fish and chips somewhere," and it gets heated. It gets heated, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty funny, and you know, man, that was. I thought Marky Ramone was gonna lunge at him because I think Johnny Rotten was just like being an asshole on purpose. But I think Marky Ramone was genuinely getting pissed off. I mean, who knows? Maybe they were both in on it. I don't know. But because Johnny Rotten the whole time he like just had this obnoxious Johnny Rotten grin on his face. You know, like yeah. So it's kind of funny, but you got to watch it. You gotta watch that interview if you like that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, and you guys are bringing up some other great ones. The Stooges, their album came out in '67. So I mean, yeah, it's like you got the Stooges. The Sonics came out before that. And there's other garage stuff that like nobody's even really heard. And then where do you factor in like say like the Raspberries, for instance, which I think their singer's like a big trumper too, randomly. But yeah, I mean, where do you and then the Ramones, of course, came New York Dolls. I mean, there's all these kind of and then of course you have like the whole scene in like the Lower East Side that was going on, Talking Heads. And so as far as like where did it start? Where did it start? You can make the argument for like the 60s and 70s in Detroit. You can make the argument for New York City around the 60s and 70s. Um, I don't think you can really make the argument for the Sex Pistols. So, you know, And then you had other random stuff, like, I mean, so it's very hard. It's very hard to say. And of course, there was that band called Death out of Detroit. I wear their t-shirts a lot. And I didn't hear about them until the documentary that came out on it. Some of you guys are giving that a shout out. It's if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's a band called Death. And basically, in Detroit in the late 60s or in the early 70s, there was this band called Death, and they were playing high octane rock and roll freaking music. And um, in Detroit in the 60s and 70s, they didn't know where to put them. Keep in mind, in the 60s and 70s in Detroit, that was like one of the best music scenes the world has ever seen. That's when Motown was thriving, and Detroit was just, I mean, it was just a leader in industry. Like, all the car factories were booming and stuff like that, and Detroit was the place to be. Detroit's still awesome, by the way. I love Detroit. And Detroit, I am so heartbroken we had to cancel the Detroit show 2 years in a row. It breaks my freaking heart. But I promise you, I will be getting to Detroit as soon as I possibly can. As soon as I possibly can. That's on the short list of cities we got to make up. And so I will either be there with Graham or solo, or, I don't know, but I will be in Detroit as soon as I possibly can. That's a freaking promise. But yeah. Um, so even in this huge music scene, they didn't know what to make of, and again, these were different times racially in the country. So they didn't know what to make of these three black guys playing rock and roll. They didn't know what to make. Three black guys playing rock and roll. They didn't know what to do about that. So Death kind of didn't really go anywhere, and then they broke up. And then, years later, they were found. And that's all I'm going to say, because you got to see the movie. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. It's a very bittersweet story, and you got to see that movie. And I don't want to say anything else other than that, because anything else, I feel like I'm saying too much. Check out that movie. You will not be sorry. So yeah, check out that movie. And let's see. Up, Red Pill, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. Thank you very much for the super chat contribution. If you guys have any questions, please do feel free to leave a super chat or a Rockfin premium tip. Red Pill, can we friends with right friends? Attacks get old. What do you mean? Can we be friends with the right friends? I That's a philosophical question, and I'm going to try to answer it. Can we be friends with the right friends? I think we try to be. I think we try to be friends with the right friends. But does that always work out? Well, of course not. When has anybody ever rolled a perfect, played a perfect hand, or rolled a perfect dice, or made the totally right judgment call every time when it comes to friends? We have all had friends that we found out were not friends at all. We have all had people in our lives who, maybe through no fault of either person, had a falling out. And that doesn't mean either person's right or wrong. It probably means that, to an extent, both people did wrong things. Usually when there's a falling out between friends, both of them are in the wrong to some extent. Sometimes it's more than the other. I've made mistakes with friendships in my life, especially when you're younger. When you're younger, you kind of like, you're still growing up, and you're still finding yourself, and you're confused, and you don't know shit, and you have falling out sometimes, and you have issues or whatever. And I can say, for me personally, I've butted heads with some of my closest friends in the world. I've butted heads with before. And it's not because we don't get along. We get along great. It's because we've just known each other for fucking ever. If you've known me for 30 goddamn years, I'm going to piss you off at some point. You're going to piss me off at some point. But, and as you get older, and you drift I don't want to say drift apart. I feel like that's a very negative way to put it. I know that a lot of my closest friends in the world, of course, I'm not as close as we were when we lived in the same neighborhood, when we were in school together, when we were growing up. And, a lot of my friends, I used to live walking distance from their houses when we were kids. Now I live 3,000 miles away. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I live in Los Angeles. A lot of my closest friends are very far from me. And but I don't like saying, "Oh, we've grown apart," because it's like, no, we're just adults living our lives. A lot of my friends, they have kids now. They have careers. They have most of them are married at this point. Um, so, but it's a good friend where you just kind of pick up where you left off, even if it's been a couple years. Call one of your friends today. Seriously, I'm going to call one of your friends. Call a friend. Just do it. Don't think about it. Fucking do it. Don't do it now. Wait until I'm done here. But when I'm done here, or when you're done watching this, patrons, Roffin Premiums, if you're watching the stream, soon as I'm done, soon as the stream's over, go call a friend. Don't wait. Maybe it's someone, you have not seen in 10 years. Maybe it's someone you've lost touch with. Maybe it's someone you owe an apology to. And you just haven't felt like making that apology happen. Not because you don't want to, but because you're uncomfortable. Frickin' do it. Life's too goddamn short. Life is too short to have grudges with your friends. Life is too short. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't times where you need to cut people out of your life. I'm not saying that you should just let people in unconditionally all the time. Of course not. That's not the way the world works. But if it's one of those things where, like, you fucked up, you made a mistake, or your friend fucked up, you made a mistake, God, bury the hatchet. Just get past it. It's time. Just freaking. And I can tell you guys, in the past 5 years or so, and especially in the past year and a half, I have seen so much vitriol and so many friendships ruined. And so many, especially in the online space where so and so doesn't talk to so and so, and this person hates that person, and it's just, God, eventually you just get to the point where you just take a step back and you think, this is so fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. And I'm at that point. I can say I'm at that point. And so attacks get old. I'm with you. I'm with you. Attacks get old. So don't attack. Don't attack. Just build bridges, right? I don't know. I mean, that's my attitude anyway. And I'm talking, friendships and stuff like that. Um, I had to apologize to somebody recently, and I was nervous about it and I felt a little weird, but then when I did it, I just felt so much better. And I was like, "Hey, I fucked up and I'm sorry." And now everything's fine. At least I'm pretty sure everything's fine. Um and a lot of my closest friends, even though we don't get to talk all the time, even though we aren't as close as I wish we could be, and a lot of it's because we just live really far away in most cases. My friends who live closer to me, I'm in touch with a little bit better, you know? But yeah. And as someone who lives in Los Angeles, all my friends are freaking moving away. All my friends are leaving. I It has been a very vulnerable time emotionally for all of us. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not, but when I say this stuff, I'm not trying to imply that I am in any way unique or special. I'm just giving my perspective and my experience because I'm hoping y'all can relate to it too. And it makes you feel a little bit better about where you're at. Because I can only speak from my perspective. And this is a stream, we're talking about the topics you all submitted. We're having a very casual chat, which, by the way, please feel free to drop a super chat or a Rockfin tip if you have any questions for me, and I will answer them. But um, but yeah, like every single day in my world here in Los Angeles, it seems like somebody is leaving. Someone is moving away because I think the pandemic kind of made a lot of people take a intermission to some extent. Not everybody. Some people had to work through it, and they had to work very hard through it, and they were treated like garbage. They were called essential workers because they were. I shouldn't have put that in quotes. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant we call them essential workers because they are, and we still treat them like garbage. The people who keep our grocery stores open, the people who keep our pharmacies open, the people who deliver food, who deliver supplies, they are essential. And they don't even get living wages a lot of the time. And they had to work through all this. And that's one of the reasons I advocated general strike. We know who the essential workers are, and it's time to shut it down. It's time to shut it down. So I don't know, getting it back to friendship. I think a lot of people kind of, if you were laid off from your job or if you had like a period of time where you were just off or whatever, um, you kind of checked in and you asked yourself, what's really important in my life? What's really important in what I do? What's really important to me? And some people, especially here in Los Angeles, um, a lot of them decided it's time for me to go because they kind of looked around and they're like, I'm tired of all of the trade-offs and sacrifices that I need to make to live in a place like this. And I grapple with that, I mean, I grapple with that too. And I don't want to get too insider baseball here, but when a creative professional or whatever the fuck you want to call it, a comedian, an actor, a poet, a musician, whatever, when they come to a place like Los Angeles, they're on a mission. I mean, that's just the truth. They're on a fucking mission. So half the people you meet in a place like Los Angeles or New York City or Chicago in a lot of cases or Nashville, Tennessee, more for musicians there, or even like Orlando to an extent, you get the idea. People are on a mission. They came there on a mission and they make a pact. And that pact is, okay, I'm going to accept the fact that I may never own a house. I may never even own a condo. I may be a renter for the rest of my life. I accept the fact that I'm going to deal with horrible fucking traffic. I accept the fact that I'm going to deal with the LAPD. I mean, police forces aren't really much better anywhere else. But I would say the LAPD is a special brand of repulsive. Although I think New York is just as bad. Fuck it. Yeah, it's probably just as bad everywhere. But you get what I mean. The LAPD has a particular brand of repulsive. But anyway, so um you make that pact and you say, I am going to sacrifice all of these things so that I can have a shot, to do like, to do something creative with my life so that I can have a shot to be a comedian or be an actor or be a musician or whatever it is. And living in a place like this, if it's New York City or Los Angeles or London or San Francisco, whatever, um, this has resources that aren't available to me anywhere else in the world. And that's why I'm here. And you make that pact. And now, in the pandemic times we live in, you're kind of looking around and you're asking, does this pact still exist? The shitty parts are still there. The high rent, that's still there. The traffic, believe it or not, that's still there. All the sacrifices are still there. But are the benefits there? Are we getting our side of the pack? That's the question we all need to ask. And a lot of people have asked that question, and the answer is no. They decide, gee, this isn't really, I can kind of live wherever I want and do my thing. So why am I here? And, that's something I grapple with too. And what kind of makes it a little more complicated in my particular case is I really love my neighborhood. I live in the San Pedro neighborhood. I freaking love it here. This is, I mean, and by the way, I ended up here by chance. Like it wasn't, I didn't plan to come here. Some people think that, I just decided I'm going to live at the beach and I came to this neighborhood. That's not what happened at all. What happened was my wife and myself, we lost a lot when the pandemic happened. I had to cancel an entire year's worth of tour dates, just had to do it again, by the way. So I lost an entire year of touring. My wife lost her job and she worked two jobs. She lost both of them. She lost both her jobs and the one she was at for years. And it was sudden too. There wasn't any warning. It's just they got an email. She was working from home because everyone was working from home, and they just got this mass email and they said, "Hey, you're done." And she didn't even get a thank you. Her boss was a nice person, and her boss did call her, which was cool. But the organization as a whole, yeah, I don't want to get started. But and she found a job in this area. We moved here because of my wife's job. That's why I live in San Pedro. My wife got a job in this area. We didn't move here for fun. But, you know, it worked out. I lived in Pasadena before this. I loved Pasadena. I really did. I got nothing but love for Pasadena. But San Pedro just fits me a little bit better. It's a port town, it's a hippie town, it's a lefty town because it's a big union strong town. And it just fits me a little bit better than Pasadena is. And than Pasadena did. And I'm happy here. So, I'm not complaining because it really did work out for the best. But my point being, I really love where I live. And where I live, I feel like I still get all the amenities of LA because I can get to LA whenever I need to. I can get anywhere where I need to, but I don't have to deal with any of the problems as much because I live in this neighborhood that's just kind of off by itself. And I don't feel like I live if you just did nothing but spend time in San Pedro and didn't know what city you were in, and you just like if you were just blindfolded and we dumped you in San Pedro and there were no clues around telling you what city you were in, and you just hung out, you probably wouldn't guess I'm in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like you probably would not guess LA. You'd be like, "Oh, parking is really cheap here. It's free after 6. There is parking here. It's easy to find it here." You'd think you were somewhere else. So, anyway. So that kind of makes it a little more difficult too. Like my wife is digging what she does now. We both love this neighborhood, so we don't like the idea of leaving, but we're also like, "Geez, if this pack doesn't exist anymore," which I don't know if it will or not. Like, I know other people, they've said no to that question. I'm not a yes or a no. I'm an I don't know. I don't freaking know. I don't know what things are going to look like. But you do have to ask yourself, if this pack doesn't exist anymore, do I want to stay here? Or can I justify staying here? And that's difficult. And a lot of my friends, some who are in show business, some who aren't, a lot of them decided no, and they've left. And, I don't socialize a ton these days. I don't think any of us do. But, what activities I do, And, the one cool thing about Southern California is there's still a ton of stuff that happens outdoors. Like we don't have to worry about going indoors anytime soon because it's, you can do outdoor stuff all year. But it's like every other thing I'm doing, it's a going away thing. It's like a going away dinner or a going away party or, whatever. I mean, usually it's not a party, it's like a dinner or something. And that's saying goodbye is hard. And I like my friend Danny Palumbo, another comedian, he said this to me when he was leaving for Austin. This was years ago when I was still living in Pittsburgh and he was still living in Pittsburgh and he decided to move to Austin. And he said this, and I don't know if he coined this. I think it's just kind of like a colloquial thing that's around, but I really like it. Because I said, "Hey, buddy, I'm gonna miss you. Goodbye, good luck," that sort of thing. And he said, "Hey, man, it's always just see you later." Um, and I kind of like that. I dig that a lot. It's not goodbye, it's see you later. It's never really goodbye. It's just kind of like, "Hey, see you later." I dig that. So I try to have that. And even when I said goodbye to some of my friends, I was just like, "Hey, man, see you soon. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna miss you, but we're gonna have so much fun when I come visit you up in Seattle, or when you come back to visit from Texas, or when like whatever it may be." Um, no offense to Texas. I would love to visit Texas too. I just some of my friends moved to Seattle and I used to live in Seattle. So Seattle has a very warm place in my heart. So I very much am looking forward to going and visiting them when they get settled up in Seattle. Whereas I don't one of my other friends moved to El Paso. I feel like I would visit Seattle before I would visit El Paso. No offense, El Paso. I'm sure you're a lovely town, and I have a lot of fun in Texas whenever I'm there. But just say it. Red Pill, you're very kind here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ron. You are a good person and soul. Thank you so much for that, Red Pill. I appreciate that very much, and I hope that's the case. I try. I think we all just try to do our best, and it's not always easy, especially these days. I think we're all. I mean, that's another thing. We're talking about friendship, and we're talking about like just trying to do your best as a person and stuff. Um, I think these days more so than in other circumstances, you have to kind of give people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, more so than usual, because it's like we're all kind of on hard, like we're all kind of on the edge a little bit. All of us are on the edge a little bit. Some more than others. Like some way more than others. But we're all on the edge a little bit. It's just something that is going to happen right now. So, yeah, that's my advice. That's my advice. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Call one of your old friends. It's seriously, and honestly, believe me, I need to practice what I preach right now. The all the stuff I'm describing, I'm terrible at doing that. Like when I'm like, call somebody, tell them you love them, blah blah blah. I'm terrible at all those things. I am terrible at all those things. Um, I think a lot of us are, honestly. But yeah, so don't. But I try. I mean, I really do freaking try, and I'm gonna try to do that today. I'm gonna call a friend who is not expecting my call just to catch up. I'm gonna fucking do it. And I hope all of you do too. And next patron stream, which by the way, if you want to find out when they are in advance, patreon.com/romplacone. Sign up for a give what you can level if you're catching this live and you want to be a patron. Yeah. Next week, we're going to talk about what we did. How about that? So I'm challenging you all to actually do this, to call a friend. Let me know in the chat right now if you're going to do it. And some of you guys are going to do it. Challenge taken. All right, then. So next week, we'll talk about what happened. In the words of the great poet of our times, Hillary Clinton, we'll talk about what happened. Um, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pizza King, for checking in on what's going on with the tour. And again, everybody who may have missed it when I talked about it earlier, we're going to be working on getting refunds out to everyone as quickly as we possibly can. Please understand that canceling a tour is a lot of work. We got to communicate with the venues. We got to make sure all that's good. And then we got to deal with the ticketing company. And we got to make sure the venues are handling it on their end when it's a venue who's handling it. So please, we're doing it as quickly as we possibly can, and we're doing our best. And we appreciate your love and your patience and your understanding. And I wrote a Substack piece about it that goes into it a little more in detail. If you want to check that out, it's on my Substack, which is just romplacone.substack.com. And when this is all over, we are going to make up. Oh my God, am I going to make up for lost time? UK, I'm coming. Iceland, I'm coming. Sweden, I'm coming. Norway, I'm coming. Canada, I'm coming. United States, we're going to make up for it. Slowly but surely, every city will be made up for. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know if it's going to be me and Graham or if it's just going to be me. I don't know the capacity of everything yet. But I can promise you, we have canceled 2 tours in a row, 2 years in a row, 2 full. It's not like we canceled a weekend. We canceled 2 full-length tours 2 years in a row. It fucking sucks. So 2022, I'm just starting again, you know? I mean, you tour like kind of strategically, and you kind of have a rotation that you go by and stuff like that. Basically, 2022, it's just starting all over again. It's just starting all over again, and it's like, where am I going to go? And Canada, I'm eyeing you up. Iceland, I'm eyeing you up. United States, we're going to make New York City. We're going to get that rescheduled real soon. Pittsburgh, Detroit. I think a lot of like the Midwestern and Northern cities, we're going to be able to reschedule first. But, you know, I mean, there's nothing to say like, oh, I'm giving up or whatever, because this is just part of what I do. So it's like, yeah, we're canceling this tour, but there will be another one because this is just what I am. Like, this is just what I do, you know? And yeah, if you want to buy a t-shirt, go to romplacone.com. You can buy a t-shirt online since a lot of you we won't be seeing in person to sell you a t-shirt in person. So please feel free to to buy a t-shirt if you want. That's a great way to support all the stuff I'm doing here. Guys, thank you so much. Once again, thank you, Red Pill, for the super chat contribution. Thank you, Indie Left, for the Rockfin tip. And guys, this has been the Rockfin Premium / patron stream. If you're catching it live, it goes out to everyone live at first. Like, it just goes out to everyone. But to get the replay, you got to be a Patreon or a Rockfin Premium member. If you're catching this live and you're thinking, I want to be a patron, I want to get my own theme song, I want to have some Zoom shows with Ron on the regular, I want to get the replay of all these streams, I want some exclusive videos, and I want all that for a give what you can level, meaning even $1 a month gets you all that stuff. I want to join. Patreon.com/Romplacone. Patreon.com/Romplacone. And of course, I'll be formally thanking more of the GoFundMe folks for the movie, for the Left It Wall movie. Thank you, everyone who has given, and I'll thank more people on Monday. And in the meantime, thank you guys so much for being here. Your support means everything. I couldn't do any of this without you. I could do none of this without you. So thank you so much. None of this would be possible without you. And you know the drill in the meantime. Lucy, she says meow. And I say peace. Peace.